Hello, this is George with Watchman German Shepherd. We're working again with Shep. In this little video, we're going to do the distant stay. So we have to stay in close proximity. Then we expand that a little bit, 5 feet, 10 feet, and the dog is still required to stay, even though you're not right on top of him or her. And then there's the out of view stay for, in the sit or down position, right? And so a few different things there. Dealing with putting the dog in a particular position and then requiring it to stay there. Some trainers say that there actually is no stay command. In other words, if you tell the dog to sit, sit means sit, don't move until I tell you not to sit, right? And that's the thinking there. And technically that's true. However, I believe in the dog's mind, it's good to distinguish between just the command to sit or down or stand, where it does not have a duration necessarily until the next thing goes on. You're requiring the dog to sit, or of course in the beginning of teaching the command, it is only momentary that the dog is going to sit, and you have to continue to repeat yourself, sit, put it back in the sit, put it back in the sit. But once you have the dog in the sit for a reasonable time, 60 seconds, maybe a little longer than that, well, I guess if you're closer to the dog and you can just stay on top of it, put it back in the sit, or step away a few feet, and if it gets up, put it back in the sit again. To me, it is a separate thing to require the dog to stay for a longer period of time, and again, whatever position, down, the sit, stand even. So while technically, yeah, I could agree that there is no stay command, yet practically I think that the stay is a very useful command. The dog gets the idea. So I would just say too that I worked a little bit with Shep for 2 sessions. This is the 3rd session, all today, on the distant stay, in the sit and down position. And so he's coming along. First he did not. I had to just barely walk away a few feet. I had to go back to him, barely walk away a few feet. I had to go back to him, put him back down. Now he absolutely knows what we're doing, right? And he's okay with it. He's obedient, and he's really a great dog. And I couldn't say enough about him as his personality, his temperament, and his intelligence. Really, really extraordinary. And so we'll get to it with the beginning stuff here, which has to do with the particular training. And again, I already said we're going to do the distant stay, and then the tool. Here we have this leash. It's an expanded leash. It opens up to 16 feet. You can get them 10 or 20 feet. It doesn't expand. It just is 10 or 20 feet. This one I picked up today at Walmart. It's a Flexi expansion leash, F-L-E-X-I. And I was looking at it, and it looked really sturdy, and it is sturdy. I took it out of the pack, and it's very sturdy. The band, the actual leash itself, is pretty sturdy. And the locking mechanism and the release mechanism, they seem really good. And so now that we don't have him jerking on the leash, pulling on the leash, we don't have to worry about him breaking the expanding leash here, right? So, and even with that, I would say that it is pretty sturdy anyway. And so I'll put a link for this if you like on the video in the description. I'll put a link where you can pick this leash up, and come. And anyway, so that's that. And then the technique there, right? We talk about the training, and then the tool, or tools in some cases, and then the technique. The technique here is just basically to stay on top of him, right? You're expanding on what you already started with him. In this case, say the sit. We're going to do the sit stay. You're just expanding on that. And you saw in the previous video, I got in front of him, exerted my authority, let him know he's going to sit, and he sits. And then keep him there for a minute or two, which I did do that fine, right on top of him. Now I want to step away from him a little bit, and I'm going to require him to stay. And so let's get right to that. Shep, come. Good, come. Good. Sit. Shep, sit. Good. Good. Sit. Good. I've expanded the leash. I locked it in. I don't want it to be taut. I want it to have some slack in it. And I don't want it taut across his face where he's going to bite it, and he was doing that in the previous session there. But here we are. I'm 5 feet away from him, and I think that's pretty good. He moved, but that's okay. I'm going to put him back in his sit. Come, come. Come, come. Good boy. Good boy. Sit. Sit. Shut. Sit. Sit. You may notice I'm not giving him any treats. And there's a reason for that, because he knows what I want him to do. I'm not really teaching him per se at this point what I want him to do. Training him to do it, to obey, right? To be a good dog, a good boy. So here he is, he's sitting there, and if you think about it, the other day, it's okay, he went and threw it down. The other day, he was, last week he was a major leash puller. That's how it was with him. So a few sessions, he's coming right along. I'm very happy, and this really is the next step, because this is where he is, right? And so we're building on where we started with his extreme leash pulling to getting him to heel, and then sit and stay and down and stay down. And next in the process would be the come. I don't know if we'll get to it in this series here, but that would be the next. Heel, sit, stay, stand, stay, down, and come. Those are the 6 basic obedience commands. Heel, sit, stay, stand, stay, down, and come. And so we won't get to the come, I don't think so, because Shep's going home tomorrow, but I'm very happy with where he is here. So again, I'm here 7 feet away from Shep, and there he is. He knows I'm telling him to stay there. He's staying there. And so I'm going to bring him, I'm going to reel him in, and we'll conclude the video with a few final words here. Good. Good. All right, so he can just stay there, right? Good boy. And so, yeah, I hope that this is helpful to you. Again, just moving along in the process there. And I do like the idea of training for practical things, right? We can train for tricks, and that's okay. Give me a paw and fetch the ball. Those are all fine. But this type of training, obedience training, to me has a practical dimension to it. And in either case, I have to say, whether it's this type of obedience training or just playing with the dog, give me your paw and teaching it those things, requiring it to give you its paw before you give it a treat or do some type of trick. That's all fine. To the dog, I believe it's all the same thing. A happy time to the dog and very enriching for the dog. To me, you can get those enriching, happy things from the dog with obedience training, and the advantage there is that it's practical, in my opinion. And so I think that's enough said on this video about the distance stay. I hope it's helpful to you. And as usual, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, just hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, like, share if you would. If you have any comments or questions, that's great too. And of course, as usual, the Lord bless your day.